Now, do I love the idea of the last surviving alien son of a doomed planet being rocketed off-world before the sun envelops his world, and the little cradle rocket ship flies through time and space and lands on our world in Kansas, and his alien biology drinks in the rays of our young yellow sun and turns him into a super being? Yeah, that's cool. That's neat. That's comic books. That's science fiction. Yeah, I want to eat that for breakfast. But his only weakness are irradiated shards of his homeworld that followed the cradle spacecraft through time and space and landed here on Earth. And mere exposure to it is fine for us, but it turns him helpless. Again, that's really cool. I like that idea, but I can't relate to it. I have never once in my life looked at a rock and vomited. Ever. And I've been to Plymouth Rock. I'm like, oh, Plymouth Rock. Never once. So again, that's a cool idea, but you have to have the human hook. My favorite example of this from an old anime called The Pet Shop of Horrors.
Yes!
Woo! Okay, only a few of you. Awesome. Okay, so, real fast. Pet Shop of Horrors is set in a mystical pet shop. I think somewhere in New York City. We'll call it
LA, Chinatown.
I see. You're right. But, yeah, it's set in a city, and it's all full of mystical, weird creatures, and it's looked over by this character called, his name is the Count. We'll call him the Count. He kind of talks like this. Very mystical air about him. Very beautiful man. Not a hair out of place on his head. Robes, very elaborate, gold patterns. It's what kind of floats around the pet shop. So you want to buy the Tiger of Shangri-La? Well, it's very good, but know this. On the third day of every month, you must do this, or etc., etc., etc. I got the idea of who the character was. Within like 5 seconds, I'm like, okay, you're the mystical crypt keeper of this. I get it. You're pretty. I don't care. Whatever. That's what initially what I thought. There's a murder connected to the pet shop because it's a weird pet shop. This detective needs to question the Count, but the Count won't talk to him. I'm very sorry, detective. I'm afraid I can't speak with you today. You wander off into the mists of his pet shop. Excuse me. Now, in like more popcorn sort of fare, how would the detective get the Count's attention? Well, he'd look for like a mystical scroll that has a spell on it that would compel a mystical person like the Count to talk to him. Or he'd find like a curved dagger with an ancient incantation that could pierce his mystical protections and threaten him. Or a scarab, or a statue, or vapors of this, or a spell of that, blah, blah, blah. That's not what the detective does. The detective does a little bit of homework. He goes and sees the Count. Hey, Count, I was kind of hoping I could talk to you about this murder. Well, I'm very sorry, detective. I'm afraid I can't speak with you today. Sorry to hear that, Count, because I brought something for you. And I hate to leave, without giving it to you. And he put something on the table between him and the Count. Now, it's not a jeweled box. It's not a scroll or a statue or a weapon or anything. It looks like a Chinese food takeout box with a little blue ribbon on it. The Count. Hang on a second. I'm about to get loud. Okay. The Count, quite literally, turns around being all mystical. Goes. Literally. And he squeaks too. And this guy dives over the table. I mean, he's like bent over, like his hair is just everywhere. And he says something like, "This is the first batch of chocolates from Burdick's down the road. You have to get in line at like 5 in the morning just for a shot of the first batch, like out of the oven. Oh my God." What can I do for you, detective? The Count had a sweet tooth. That's it. Not a weakness to spells, not a weakness to magic, not a weakness to sugar. And I love chocolate. And in that instant, Count You poor motherfucker, I get it. It's gonna be okay. The Count had a sweet tooth, and that's it. Very mystical character. Not of this world, mystic. Weakness to chocolate. Immediately, I gave a shit about that character. And that's all you gotta do. Real quick aside, my mother used to be able to, like, I know the power of chocolate. My mother used to be able to control all my friends, like the brownies that she used to make. Like, guys, stop picking on me. No, Moon, we won't. I won't let you have my mother's brownies. Oh. What can we do for you? And you don't have to look very hard for these human hooks. You don't have to be all that imaginative either. Look to what you know best. Yourself. So dig deep for the real weird shit about yourself. Do not try to write cool. Do not. There is nothing more limiting you can do for yourself, or, like, timely, than writing what's cool now. Because what's cool now, I could talk in the lingo of what we thought was cool, like back in the 80s. And you guys would look at me like, what the fuck planet are you from? Have you watched television at all? I know. But uncool is timeless. Absolutely timeless. But don't try to write someone cool, and don't try to pick, like, the cool shit about you. Pick the fact that you fart when you're nervous. Like, yeah, I'm gassy too. Fuck yeah. And so the barbarian farted when he saw the dragon. Dig deep. Go for as uncool as possible. And you'll find somebody else out there who's like, well, that happens to me too. I give a shit about your alien. Yeah. Don't be afraid, right? Just dig deep. There's something very basic in us, something very, like, visceral and primal about wanting to root for and get behind the biggest, meanest, toughest badass in the room who just kick your ass if you cross him or her. And those characters are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and I enjoy them. But they're easy. You know, on a night where you just had a rough week at work, you just, fuck it, I don't want to think. You check your brain at the door. You grab all the beer in the house. You plop it down. You're like, Conan the Barbarian! Kill him! Chop all their heads off! Do it! Just all the beer. That's fun, and we need those nights. But they're easy. They're very popular because they're very easy to write. You want the unique hero, you go for the intellectual victory. And man, oh man, that last.
Fuck yes.
Man, oh man,
this is
that
good.
last.
Have you
with
read
anybody
his
who's found
series
a character,
before?
who's found your story,
Heard
and
the story
just
before.
That intellectual victory out of nowhere is just mind-blowing. The best example of this I have ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Ever. From Isaac Asimov's The Foundation trilogy. Anybody read The Foundation? More than normal episodes. All right, cool. Foundation reading.